I want to start off by telling you about a dream that I had last night. I died and I went to hell. And hell wasn't this big open pit of fire. It was more like a giant hotel. And as I'm going down the hallways, I start to open doors and I see people there. The first person I see is the pro-life guy. And in his room, he's fucking the most ugly, disgusting woman you could possibly imagine. And I ask him, pro-life guy, what did you do to deserve such a torture? And he says, well, all my life I hated on ugly women, so now I've got to fuck this bitch for the rest of eternity. And I open up the next door, and there's Empty Without Jesus, and he's fucking the biggest, the fattest woman you could possibly imagine. And I ask him, Empty Without Jesus, what did you do to deserve such a torture? And he says, well, all my life I hated on fat women, so now I gotta fuck this bitch for the rest of my life. And I open up another door, and there's Bible Truth 9. And he's fucking the most beautiful, gorgeous woman you could possibly imagine. And I ask him, Bible Truth 9, I gotta know, what did you do to deserve such a torture? And the woman looks out the door and says, oh no, this is my torture. In my last video, I covered how to go to hell. In this one, I want to talk about hell itself and how a big open pit of fire is just very boring and uncreative. If hell exists, I would imagine it would be personal. Your torture would be specific to you. Now, me, I can imagine that my personal hell would be driving a bus that never runs out of gas, down a highway that never ends, full of children that never shut the fuck up. And no matter how many times I jackknife the bus and kill us all, I would just have to start all over again. And, I mean, I'd make a game out of it, I guess, you know. I'd make it 7 days and then say, well, let's see if we can go for 8. Just to see how long I could go before I'd lose my mind and drive us off a cliff. I suppose they could also torture me with small dogs. I hate small dogs. Any dogs, say, smaller than a cat. They're just annoying, piss-filled little rats. I like to hook their leash up to a big fat cat and just let the cat boss the dog around, and cat takes up a tree and little dog's just hanging there. Aren't you gonna do something? I am! I'm watching! Or just, you know, spike and chain a small dog out. Just out in the field somewhere and wait for a hawk to come and get him. The surprise would be on the hawk because the dog's chained to the ground, so the hawk could only get half of him. I really do hate small dogs, so they could torture me in a room full of small dogs, but I don't know, I might have too much fun there, because all those small dogs to kill for eternity. Whatever. And I got the lunch menu from Hell's Cafeteria, and apparently every Thursday they make a scorpion sandwich, and the scorpions are pretty good. Now that I've got a somewhat larger fan base and subscriber base, and there's more people watching me, I'd like to start asking some questions. So my question tonight is, what would be your Inferno Personum? Assume that for whatever reason, after you die, you are judged to go to hell. How would they torture you? what would be the torture that happens for the rest of eternity that is appropriate for you? Small children and small dogs would do it for me. But I'm curious about everybody else. I've been Aldus Valor, and it just doesn't get any better than me.